Hey, this is Adriyan Rae, and I'm sitting here with Elias in the Man Cave Chronicles talking about Chicago Fire. So excited to be back.
Welcome to another episode of the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to the party, pal!
You're my boy, Blue!
Yo, Adrian!
A podcast with interviews of amazing guests from the world of pop culture.
Oh, yeah!
TV.
Nice!
Movies.
Oh, I love the movies!
Comedy and more. From deep inside the Man Cave, your host, Elias.
Adrian, welcome back to the cave.
Thank you. Hi, it's good to be back.
How are you? What's new with you?
I'm good. I'm really doing really well. Just filming a TV show during a pandemic. Nothing major.
How did you deal with all the quarantine before you went back filming?
The same way as before. I never really got too anxious about quarantining because I'm an introvert already. But I mainly just, did my home workouts and shop for groceries via Instacart. It was mainly how I handled quarantine.
So if the listeners remember you correctly, you were on Vagrant Queen, and now you just joined the cast of Chicago Fire Season 9. So you've been busy.
Yeah, I have for sure.
So let's talk about Chicago Fire. How exciting has this been for you?
Oh man, it's a dream come true. It's really freaking awesome. I've always wanted to play a role where I get to be in the medical field, and this allows me to do that and, do some stunts and be around some action and stuff like that. So it's really great. Super exciting.
So when you got the call for this, how excited were you?
Oh my gosh, literally cried. I cried. I had a feeling that maybe I was going to book it, and I was claiming that I had booked it, but it's nothing like getting that call like, hey, you booked Chicago Fire. And all the reps are on the phone, and it was freaking awesome. It was life-changing.
Tell us about your audition. I want to hear about that.
Oh, well, for my audition, it was a self-tape, since it was during the pandemic. I think I auditioned, my first one was in July. So I auditioned via self-tape, and I had auditioned for the Chicago shows for at least 2 years prior, mainly Chicago PD. And, I hadn't booked anything from it. So I was like, I'm just going to have fun. Just going to have fun because, I feel like I do well on these, and they say I do well, but I haven't booked it. So what the hell? Just going to have fun. So I go and I have fun, and it was pretty, awesome, in my opinion. I was like, this is great. I like it. I like what I'm doing. And it was just fun to live in her, for that time. And then we got good feedback and got a call back. So I did another self-tape, different scenes. And then we got another call back, a producer session, Zoom session, and a writer's session where I had to meet with the writers. And I was freaking out because never had that before. And I felt so much better because once I got on the call, she was just like, oh, I just want to make sure you do great. I'm just trying to help you. That's all. Do you have any questions? You want to talk about the character? And I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. You as an actor, you come in and you're like, oh man, you feel like you just have to prove yourself so much and nobody wants you to get the role. But in all actuality, they want you to do well. Casting wants you to do well. The producers want you to do well, and it was just a genuine moment of that being shown to me, we want you to do well. So yeah, let's have this meeting before your producer session, which was via Zoom. So that was different. It's a new pandemic thing where we're auditioning live, but via Zoom. So that was nerve-wracking because what if the Zoom glitches or, it's a laptop there and not a camera and people are it's just so different. So, yeah, that happened. And I did the audition and then I felt good afterwards. And then we got the call 3 days later.
Well, that's pretty fast turnaround. Now you played Gianna. How would you describe her? And did you have any input on the character when you were talking to the writers?
Oh, actually, I had created her for the audition process. I had created my version of Gianna. And what was beautiful was when I had that meeting with the writers, even backstory things that they hadn't told me that I just created myself. It was so freaking crazy because the lady was like, what? Literally, that's her backstory that we wrote. It's like, there's no way I could have known that. That's so crazy. So that was cool. But playing her is amazing. She's so fun and quirky, and you know, still warm, and she's different than Alita completely,
Yeah.
which is also fun too.
So because of the whole pandemic and anything, like, did you do any type of training, to play this character or
Um,
research?
of course, research, but my medical background really helped. And then the show provides medical personnel whom are still actually working in the field to help us. So we, of course, have to meet up with them in certain rooms, but certain cannot be in there for a certain amount of time, have to wear your mask the whole time. There's special machines that clean the air as we're in there, even though we're all wearing masks as well. Um, Everything we touch is sanitized in between, handshakes, still social distancing. So, they're teaching us, but just in a different way.
Mm.
So that's mainly how we train for the medical portion of it.
Did you find any challenges playing this character?
Challenges? I think every character comes with different things you have to learn. I think a challenge is just the perspective that you choose to have. So I just think of it as things to learn about her. But of course, there are things that come with Gianna that are different, like her being from Chicago and me having never been to Chicago before this show. So learning how to portray her correctly and as authentically as possible. That's
Fun is it to film in Chicago?
Oh, it's fun. It's freaking cold, but
I knew you were gonna say that.
it's fun. I mean, and you know what? It's like everyone is so used to it. It's season 9. They're just so freaking badass, and it could be snowing. The tears on their face freezing up, and they're still there, still present. And I'm like, bro, I can't feel my eyes. I can't feel my nose. And they're like, and action. Like, okay, let's do this. But the city is beautiful. Such a beautiful city. Very diverse, lots of good food. Lots of good food. It's hard to not get fat.
Right. And you mentioned season 9. How was it joining a cast that's been together for so many years and you as a new person coming in?
Well, it was very different than anything I've ever experienced. They're all so down to earth and warm and loving. It was like I was the long lost cousin that they just found out about, and they were like, "Hey, come on in to Thanksgiving. You want some food? Here's a plate." They were just really sweet and warm. I mean, reaching out before I even got to set just to say hi or check in, want to set up calls so we can get to know each other, things like that. It was great, honestly, like a really smooth transition.
How funny is Joe? I had Joe on a couple years ago.
He's hilarious. He says whatever he wants, and I love it. It's like him and David say whatever they want, and it just starts the whole, like, the dynamic of everyone together is just freaking hilarious. And Joe is so great, and he's so great to work with. He's so real. Like, Joe will tell you exactly how it is, and he's like, "I love you. This is what it is. Period." So I really enjoy working with all of them, and Joe specifically is such a great scene partner.
Do you hope your character makes it to the other Chicago shows? Crossover?
Yes, hell yeah.
How cool would that be?
Right. I really want it to be like, of course she's gonna go into med, she's gonna take some patients there, but I would like to work in like figuring out some PD stuff too, or just something. I thought that we would get to go there more, but they're cutting down on that a bit, because of COVID. But in the first episode, we do interact with someone, and it's what he does is illegal. So hopefully that gives root to things like that happening, and I can get some PD time too. I want to meet them and hang out. Nicole's on there now.
Do you have a favorite scene from this season that you filmed that sticks out, that's like your favorite so far, that you could tell us at least about?
Yeah, my favorite scene is in the next episode. Is with Joe.
All right, that's good. I
And
can't wait to see that then. So, any other projects that you're working on?
This is just kind of taking up most of my time, in just making sure we're doing everything we can, following protocol and the ups and downs of filming during a pandemic. But other than that, still working on the scholarship, getting that off the ground so that we can give children the opportunities that they need to have funding for secondary education, which is hard. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. The Heart and Soul Scholarship by Love and Light Media coming soon.
How long do you have to stay in Chicago for?
With the pandemic, I'm not quite sure. But I know I'm going back, and I know I'm there for a while. I believe till at least the spring.
Wow.
But so much going on. It could go longer. We don't know.
Adriyan, lastly, how can the listeners and the new listeners find you on social media?
Oh, you all can find me at Adriyan Rae. That's ADRIYR. That's ADRIYANRAE. And that's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of those.
Adriyan, thank you for coming back on. This was fun.
Of course. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap, everybody. That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to the Man Cave Chronicles podcast.
I finally get my man cave.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the MCC Podcast and our website, themccpodcast.com. Until next time.